We have Nadia Humphreys. Nadia is Executive Director Operations at Goldman Sachs Asset Management. Nadia, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Sure. Now, at TSAM, Nadia, I believe that you're speaking about market standards and fund cash flows. Could you tell us a little bit more about the background to this market standard?
Yes, of course. And firstly, thank you very much for having me both here and at the TSAM Congress to talk about this subject. Look, ultimately, it's a way of transmitting investor cash flows between transfer agents and asset or fund managers in a consistent and efficient way. I guess the aim of this overall is going to be to enable efficient portfolio management. And one of the reasons I'm here is also to really encourage other asset managers to explore the opportunity to standardise their cash flow information, particularly as it pertains to investors who want to subscribe or redeem from their funds, and just eliminate the manual intervention across that process.
I'm sure it's all less intuitive than it sounds, but so I'm keen to know, how did you arrive to a solution to this problem?
Yeah, it's an interesting story actually. I guess it started 18 months ago with the Investment Management Association, the Operations Committee of the IMA. They formed a subgroup that was predominantly focused around ensuring that we had spoken at least about the operational challenges with regard to managing investor cash flows and how our mutual funds are supported operationally. Within our peer group of asset managers, people had a real common denominator, and that common denominator was the variety in which they receive information, whether it's via email mechanism, equally whether it's in Excel spreadsheets, and the manual resource devoted to using that information, I guess, in a simple way, and the ability for the asset manager to then take that information and make it usable for the portfolio manager overall in the way that they were managing their mutual funds for a given organisation. So that group got together, and then over time we kind of worked on what would be all the content required to deliver the ideal message, what would meet everybody's requirements. And then through that as well, we spoke to transfer agents and said to them, look, if we wanted to look to standardise this method of delivering cash flow information with the transfer agents, would they be receptive to us automating this? And the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. So the subgroup within the IMA then worked on creating this standardised solution for the industry.
So a lot of collaboration and arriving at the solution. But what are the main benefits now of the solution?
Yeah, so there are multiple benefits. I guess I would look to highlight three main benefits for this audience. The first is just in standardising that message. So as I spoke about earlier, it just eliminates the manual intervention in that process. So where people are using email, Excel spreadsheets, PDF, or have already agreed a bilateral transfer with their transfer agent, it just creates a standardised way of delivering that. Now, I guess that kind of marries well to the second benefit that I would talk about, and that benefit is that it makes the asset manager indifferent to who they use as a transfer agent. So if they need to onboard a new relationship, it's really straightforward for them to do. There's no operational overhead, there's no technology investment involved in that. And then also with regard to resilience, it means that if you have any specific issues with the transfer agent, the ability to move over to a new transfer agent is quite straightforward for you to do as well in terms of delivering that cash flow information. And then thirdly, it's really around your client as well. So because we've leveraged Swift to come up with a solution in the way that we are standardising this cash flow message, Swift enables us to deliver this message in a really secure way. And it also enables a really robust audit trail in the way that we're delivering this information. So it gets away from kind of the manual processes that asset managers currently had been using.
Sounds like an ambitious project, Nadia. I'm encouraged to ask you what's next.
So yeah, I mean, what's next is really looking at encouraging other asset managers to have a look through the work that we've done. And for them to be able to do that, I would encourage people to look at the My Standards portal on Swift, where we have delivered our new estimate and final cash flow forecast message. All the content that we've used within that message to make sure that it satisfies the requirements for the multiple different European mutual funds that people use, and the way that they would need to receive and render that information with regard to portfolio management. So I guess if people are interested in this subject, and also if they want to hear a little bit more about the content of that, I would encourage people to come along to the TSAM Congress, where they can hear myself and members of SWIFT talking about this message in a little bit more detail, and a lot of the advantages that it'll offer the industry. Where I would really conclude is the real advantage in this is through industry standardization. So the more people that adopt this message, the more the benefits to the industry will be reaped.
Nadia, thank you very much, and thank you for joining TSAM.
Oh, thank you.